This is topic C on page 33, assigning a project calendar. When you create a new project plan, Microsoft Project assumes that your project tasks will be performed during a standard work week. In reality, however, your project tasks may be performed during a longer or shorter work week. You may also have to take into account holidays and vacation schedules. In this topic, you will modify the project calendars in Microsoft Project so that they reflect the realities of your particular project.
Project uses calendars to determine when to schedule tasks and when resources will be available to perform work. The project calendar is the calendar that determines the overall schedule of a project. For example, if you have defined your organization's holidays in the project calendar, the end date that project calculates for your project will automatically adjust so that your project will end on a workday. Although the project calendar applies to the project as a whole, you can also assign calendars to individual resources or tasks. First, we're going to take a look at our base calendars. I'm going to go up to the Project tab on my ribbon, and in my Properties command group, I'm going to open up my Project Information dialog box. So remember, we took a look at our Start Date, Finish Date, and Schedule From fields, and also our Current Date field. Now I'm going to hop over. Here I have a calendar drop-down. And this drop-down shows the 3 base calendars that are available in Microsoft Project. A base calendar defines the working days and working hours in a calendar that can be assigned to the project. The Project Information dialog box shows the base calendar assigned to your project in the calendar field. Microsoft Project gives you 3 built-in base calendars from which to choose. So your options, we have Standard, and the working days and times for the Standard calendar are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., and then take into account a lunch break, so the hours would go 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Then your other base calendar is your night shift calendar. This is 12 a.m. to 3 a.m., 4 a.m. to 8 a.m., 11 p.m. to 12 a.m., Tuesday through Friday, and then 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. on Saturday. And then your third base calendar is 24 hours. That's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So every hour is accounted for within that calendar. No time off at all. The standard base calendar is the default for all new files in Microsoft Project. So when you create a new file, it's always going to automatically be set to standard. So that's 8 to 12 and then 1 to 5 Monday through Friday. You can change the base calendar to one of the other options in your calendar dropdown. So one of these other 3 options you can change it to. Now you can also create your own new base calendar. To do this, I'm going to cancel out of here. You would go to your Project tab, Properties command group, and here we have our Change Working Time command. And in this dialog box, our Change Working Time, you can see this is where I would enter any holidays or maybe half days, something like that. And I would set my working days. You know, if I'm maybe working weekends or something, I can change it so I can customize what my calendar is going to be. So right now, remember, I have standard base calendar set to this particular project. So any changes I make as far as holidays will be updated to standard. Maybe I don't want to use the standard base calendar. To the right here, I can create my new calendar. You can name it. I'm going to just name this Example Calendar. And I can base this off a copy of my standard. So maybe the standard calendar is the closest that I'll be working with a few exceptions as far as holidays go. So I can go ahead and make a copy of the standard calendar, Click OK. So the working days right now are still Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. But I can go ahead and add some holidays here. To do that, let's see, we were starting in, what was my start date? August. I can scroll down. You can see I'm in June 2020 right now. Let's go over to September. September 7th is going to be Labor Day. Oh, it's pretty late this year. So September 7th, I would select that on my calendar grid at the top. Then I would go down to my Exceptions tab at the bottom of this dialog box. Make sure I'm on my Exceptions tab. And click in the first row of my name column. And I can go ahead and type Labor Day and hit enter, and now that's actually what we call an exception day. So an exception is a day or week when working time is different than what is normal for the base calendar. Another quiz question. This is on page 32. Exception is a day or week when working time is different than what is normal for the base calendar. So normally, we would be working on a Monday, right? Because that's what our standard base calendar was, Monday through Friday. But since it's a holiday, we call it an exception day. And you can see, when I click outside of that, it does have that blue color, but it also has the little dots in it, signifying that that is now a non-working day. Okay? So I could go in and add all of my holidays here. Let's see, November 26th. That would be Thanksgiving, right? Select that from my calendar. Type it into my name. Press enter. Now that's a non-working day. Now, January 31st, New Year's Day. Maybe that's a half day. Maybe my resources, my human resources, my people aren't working a full schedule that day. I can click the date. I'm going to go ahead and type it out. New Year's Eve. Press enter to enter it in there. So at first it's an exception. The whole day's off. We don't want that. I can click New Year's Eve here, and then to the right I have a details button. So I don't want to set the working time for this to be non-working all day. So by default, since I made it an exception, that's what it is. I want to choose my working times radio button. Now remember, this calendar is based off the standard base calendar with 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Well, maybe my employees are only, not my employees, but the resources, human resources, are only going to be working in the morning. Then they'll have off the rest of the day. I can delete the 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. And I do that just by clicking on this first gray box to the left of those times. It will highlight the entire row for you. Hit my delete button. You can see that's removed. Now it's only going to be 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Click OK. Now you can see it's blue for an exception day, but it doesn't have those gray dots over it showing non-working because it is a half day. Okay, so there is still some working time there. And if I click on the day, it'll show me the details of it. Working time for December 31st, 2020, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Okay, if I continue on, they'll have off on New Year's Day. Select the date. Type that in. Click enter. You can see the start and finish date of all of these is input for me. So now that's blue, but it has those gray dots over it showing you that that will be a complete non-working day. So if I click OK from here, it will bring me back to my task entry table. Oh, I forgot to show you one thing, a recurrence. Let's say I had now this project is short, only 124 days. Let's say I had a project that's lasting years, and I know that every New Year's Day was obviously going to be a non-working day. And I wanted to set that for, let's say, the next 5 years. I'm going to go back down. I gotta go back down. I gotta choose my example calendar from the top here. That's what I was working with. There we go. So you might make sure I'm working with example calendar. I'm gonna go down to January 1st. Select New Year's Day from my list and hit my details again. Just like we set our working time for New Year's Eve. Down in the middle here I have my recurrence. So how often do I want this exception day to recur? Now, obviously, January 1st, New Year's, occurs on the same day every year. So I can do this yearly on January 1st, and then I can set the range of occurrence. My start is going to be January 1st of 2021. Well, maybe I want to do that for 5 years. So that's going to put me at an end date of January 1st, 2025. Okay, so I can put how many times that will be entered. Click OK from here. Now if I was to go down the calendar to 2022, you can see the first has been set. Obviously it's a Saturday, it would be a non-working day anyway, but all the years to come, January 1st. For the next 5 years, that's going to be input into my calendar already for me. So if it is a date that is going to be the same every single year or something like that, then you can go ahead and have a recurrence for that. Now, when I click OK here, I have my holidays set in. You might be thinking, why didn't my finish date change? If I'm adding all of these holidays, shouldn't that push back my finish date a little bit? And the answer is yes. Remember, in our project information dialog box, we had the calendar set here to standard. Well, I didn't put those holidays into my standard calendar. Remember, I made a copy of it and I named it example. From this drop down, now I need to set my project calendar to be working off the example calendar. So I select that, click OK, and my finish date still didn't get pushed back. I don't know why that happened. I actually should push my finish date back a little bit. I don't know why it didn't update there. I'm gonna have to look into that. Let me try something real quick. It's only changing the duration. It's not pushing my finish date back, which is strange. Might be because it's estimated. That has to be why. Alright, I'm going to look into that more, but so that's how you add your different exception days, which, you know, again, are your working and non-working days, any holidays and things of that nature. So you can, you know, base your resource usage when we get into our human resources or our, you know, different different types of resources like materials and things like that. We'll know when to schedule them so nothing overlaps as far as usage goes. Okay, but
Your next video will be activity 2.4 on page 37.